Hello. 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 Hey, Lisa. I will. You're going to record. Okay.
Perfect. Hello, everybody. And we have a very exciting call this week. We've got the amazing creator from our NV line is on with us today. And I know that in India and in Bangladesh, a lot of the countries that several people of you are working in have many people that you can share this beautiful line with, and lots of makeup artists and just beautiful women that can get out there and start sharing that. So our lovely and very, very gracious creator, Yolanda Halston, has come on to talk about the NV line with us today. Yolanda, thank you.
Hi, how are you? I'm so excited to be here.
Good, good. Wonderful to see you. Thank you so much. And I think India is going to be one of the main places that will be, once it catches on, once people know what this line is. And that's why we wanted to have you on here today, because I think people could use a bit of instruction and just some product knowledge going forward and how to use the products.
Well, the women of India have the most beautiful skin in the world. And MV just allows us to have that even more flawless airbrush perfection. So I can't wait to go visit and spend some time there. Very excited to be able to show how to use it. And there's so many different tips and tricks that I can share with you today that are, you know, it allows you to either spray it on or apply it with a brush or a sponge. So I'm super excited to spend this time with you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, you go ahead and give us your tips and tricks. And do you want to talk a little bit about the Luminesse and how it works together with this? Just your background with Dr. Newman now?
Oh, I would love to. So when I started working with Jeunesse, I actually had applied the product to Wendy and Isabel Lewis, and they started wearing it and people started complimenting them on their skin. And so we came together and we took my airbrush, my patented airbrush technology, which is spraying it directly onto the skin, and combined it with Dr. Newman's APT 200, which is the key ingredient and exclusive to Jeunesse. So what APT 200 is a, it's a polypeptide that's derived from plant-based stem cells. And I think I mentioned this last night. I was watching one of those, you know, shows that were talking about polypeptides, and I think the product was claiming it had 80. Our polypeptide has over 200 polypeptides derived from plant-based stem cell, which is, I mean, it is just the most potent, wonderful way to send a youth message to your skin and to your cells that cause your cells to replenish and regenerate. So how this happens is you want to start with clean, fresh skin. We have a super simple program, which I love. I don't like to do a lot of steps because if I have a lot of steps, I will skip some and I won't do it, or I'll get lazy. I have a very fast-paced lifestyle. So our system is perfect. The cleanser has an active in it that causes a natural exfoliation from you know, removing the dead skin. So you want to use the cleanser, use a washcloth or a makeup removing mitten, and get the dead skin off. So I cleanse in the morning, I cleanse at night. Then I use the serum. The serum is, you know, it's a super simple product to use. I use one pump. A lot of times you want to go, well, I use one pump and that is enough for my whole face and my neck, and I even, whatever's left on my hands, I use on my fingers, I use on the backs of my hands. And it goes in really quickly. It's a gel base, and what it does is it penetrates deep into the epidermal layer to where it goes all the way down to where the cells are starting to regenerate. And then I use the daily moisturizer, the SPF 30. I use this, actually, I use it morning and night because I have combination skin. If you have dry skin, you could use the nighttime advanced, which honestly, everybody always says this is the best night cream I have ever used, better than La Mer and any of the other high-priced brands, because not only does it have the function of moisturizing the skin, but it doesn't feel like that tacky, you know, greasy nighttime cream, which I would never use that. So it goes straight in. My skin is combination. I don't need that much moisturizer, but I use it as a night cream under my eyes. I put it on my cuticles. I put it on all my dry spots, and I use it when I fly. So you just basically, just because one says daytime and one says nighttime, it doesn't mean that you can't use the day cream in the night or the night and the day. So just adjust your moisturizer according to your skin type. And then from there, you want to apply your Envy. So with Envy, it's super easy. I originally designed this product to be as easy to apply as spraying your face with water. That was a big deal for me because in the very beginning, when I first had the idea of this product, it was because I was going into doctor's offices and I was spraying over the top of CO2 peels, laser resurfacing. That skin is super sensitive and it is healing, and it does, you know, it's very, like, to the touch, it hurts. And when your skin is healing, it's producing a lot of heat. And so I didn't want to have to do a lot of manipulation with the fingers. Also, the only way to get the thinnest layer of product on the skin is to mist it on. And I had already been airbrushing. It was a very popular trend at the time, but it just wasn't friendly to use at home, to have the, you know, the compressor and the gun and the, you know, the tubes and the needles and all of the stuff that was required to apply it. You can't do that if you're not a professional. So I really just wanted it to be as easy to apply as spraying your face with water. So basically what's inside the can is about that much water, 33% water. Then there's the emollients. There's the vitamins and botanicals, which are antioxidants, vitamin A, vitamin E. And then there's also vitamin D, which is super important in this time, especially because, I mean, obviously we know the benefits of vitamin D from the sunshine, but also what vitamin D does as a essential vitamin is that it allows the skin to collect moisture from the air and retain it in the skin. So that's a really important component, because if you want hydration and you want moisture, you want that vitamin in there. So we also have aloe vera, which is soothing and hydrating. And then most importantly, we have the APT 200 in all of our Envy products. So I don't think of Envy as makeup. I think of Envy as a bridge between your skincare and your color cosmetics. So when your skin looks beautiful, it doesn't matter what other cosmetic products you put on. Some people, you know, do smoky eyes and bare lips like the Kim Kardashian look. Some people wear red lipstick and mascara and nothing else. Those things to me are accessories. But when your skin looks good, everything else looks good, right? So applying it is super easy. So here's your primer. Shake the can. And I'm holding my phone so you can hear me speak. So bear with me here. So you shake the can, and then you're gonna hold it at a distance of the same distance that you would spray your face with water. So if you were spraying your face with water, you wouldn't hold the can here, right? Because you'd get wet. And you wouldn't hold it way back because then it wouldn't hit your face. You want to just like with a 90-degree angle with your arm, if you can see that. And then shake the can always before you use it. And then close your eyes and that's it. I just primed my entire face with eyelash primer, brow, skin, lips, eyeshadow, 5 primers in one in like 1 second. So you heard the way it sounded, right? Like not, right? So I say that because if you open your eyes and your face looks wet, you either had the can too close or you sprayed for too long. It should just look dewy and fresh. It shouldn't look wet. And if you need more primer, if you have really open pores or very dry skin, you could layer the primer. You just want to put it on in layers, not doing, you know, really wet and then it takes too long to dry. So then we have our foundation. So let me find the right shade. I believe you guys, you have the 3, you have the primer and you have the shade 3 and you have the shade 6 and 7. So the 3 is going to be the shade that you use as a concealer. It's going to be what gives you that light brightness around your eyes, around the corners of your nose and here. And then also you can cut your eyebrows out with it. I'm sure you've watched a lot of YouTube tutorials on how to apply foundation. You can apply this product the traditional way with a brush, with a sponge. I personally like to conceal with my fingers because I think it's the most natural way. The texture of the skin and the heat from the skin actually sort of melts it into the skin. But if you want more of that really, you know, carved out Kim Kardashian highlighted contoured look, you can absolutely do that with this product. The 6 and the 7 are going to be the shades that are the best skin tones. The 6 is more of a neutral base and the 7 is more of a warm base. So it just depends on the look that you're going for. If you would rather have your skin tone more, you know, warm, and just because it's a 7, it doesn't mean it's lighter than. They're pretty similar in the same level, the 6 and the 7, but I can go either way. I lean personally towards the 6 because I'm more of a neutral, but I can wear the 7. It just depends if you want more of a warm look or more of a neutral look. The products are super easy to apply. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this on with my finger. So get close. I'm using my phone here, so bear with me. So this is the look that you get with your finger. This is going to conceal and give me that lightness underneath my eyes. It's going to cover dark circles. If I have any spots, I'm going to do that first. And you can see that with the finger, it goes on really nice and it just blends, it just melts right into the skin tone. The weight of this product is lighter than the lightest liquid foundation you've ever used before. If you need more coverage, you can use a sponge. So when you use a sponge, the sponge actually absorbs most of the water. So when you lay down the product, you're going to get a brighter, more full coverage highlight with that. And literally I'm like this big on my screen, so bear with me here. I always put a little bit down the center of my nose. I always cut my bottom lip in on my chin with it. And I'm really interested to see what this looks like once I can see it full size, but I can pretty much do it blindfolded because I've done it so many times. So I, like you, Bekki, I always, I have eyeshadow on right now, but I always put foundation on my eyelids too. And any place that you need a little bit of extra concealer, I do that first. And then I actually like to spray my face with the product. Let's see if I can turn my iPad on here and see what I really look like. Oh, there, okay. So I actually like to spray the product on. Right now I have eyelashes on. So, you know, a lot of times as a distributor, when you're showing product, hi, there you are. A lot of times as a distributor, when you're showing product, you actually have somebody like me who's already dressed. I'm wearing black, who already has their eye makeup done and their lipstick done. And so I want to make sure that you can actually demonstrate the product on someone's skin without having to redo everything, because, you know, if you spray the whole face with foundation, the eyelashes will get cloudy, which is not a problem if you have mascara to go over the top. It actually is a good lash builder. But if you don't have access to that and you're showing the product, I do this, and I'm going to sit my phone down for a second, so bear with me on the sound. Hopefully you can see that. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I'm doing someone's face like this, I'll put a tissue on their clothing and sort of tuck it in around their neckline. You know, no matter what the neckline is, I'll just put a white tissue. Then I'll take my hand and cover the eyes like that so I don't get it on the lashes. And then I'll spray. Just like that. You heard the sound, right? Not. I want to keep repeating that because it's super important. Less is more with this product. You don't need a lot. And if you use too much, you will, there you are. If you use too much, then you have to pick it up and manipulate it. Whereas if you just do a, then you can just press it and buff it. So I use the puff. These are available. These are washable, reusable. I designed the puff with a little point so you can get in the corners of the eyes and all the little areas. These are disposables. This is just the one, but honestly, if you don't demonstrate it with a puff, you won't get the full effect. The other way to apply it, so, you know, if you have very dark hair and light skin, or if you have very light hair and dark skin, spraying it around the face, you need to do a little bit more protection. Like you need to have, you know, tissue around your collar, but you also need to have your hair pulled back so it doesn't get into your hairline. If you are in a situation and you're demonstrating it, then just do this. So what I sprayed on my cheek is what I usually spray in the palm of my hand, right? But then you can use a puff or a sponge or a kabuki brush and just literally it just melts right in. So there's so many different ways to apply it to where it will work into your routine. I always say there's no rules with makeup. You can use it in any way. The beauty of Envy is that the quality of the product is the best on the market. Now, I always tell the backstory about why I invented it in the first place was to go on skin that had been burned as the most gentle method of applying product to the skin. I tell that because the quality of the ingredients, purity of the product is super important. I can't tell you how many times people have said to me, I don't want it because it causes my skin to break out. Well, the reality is it's not the product that causes the skin to break out, it's the contamination that happens. Once the product is opened, you can't open this, you can't unseal it. So, but with a typical bottle of foundation, once you've taken the lid on and off, for 1 week, you've lost 26% of the vitamins and botanicals that are in. It doesn't matter what the brand is. It doesn't matter, you know, how much you paid for it. If you've removed the lid and exposed it to the air, any of the nutrients that are in there evaporate. So your vitamins and botanicals or volatile organic compounds, as soon as they hit the air, they're gone. The water evaporates. The emollients evaporate. And so you could have this really great foundation that you love and you use it for a week and it's great. But then after a week or so, it starts to get thicker. it starts to get darker. The color oxidizes. The vitamins and botanicals in 1 month, losing 26% a week. There is nothing left that's good for your skin in a typical bottle of foundation. It doesn't matter what the brand name is or how much you paid for it. It is contaminated pigment, and it's thicker, and the color's darker. And I don't know a single woman or makeup artist that's used an entire bottle of foundation. You always throw it away before you get to the bottom because it's different. It's just not the same. And so with this, with Envy, because the product is sealed, nothing. That means every time you spray your face with the product, it is first time fresh. The same as the first day you spray it to the same as the last day you spray it. It's going to be exactly the same. The only thing you want to remember is to shake the can in between every spray, and that way you get an even amount of product being distributed. Because nothing can get out, nothing can get in as well. You can't contaminate this product. So it truly is beauty from the inside out, because you put this on, you get a treatment with the APT 200, so you've got the inside beauty, and then you put it on from the, obviously the outside, you get the airbrush perfection, and you look good immediately, but you get the long-term result from the stem cells. So you really can't go wrong with this product. And actually, I'm talking with my hands right now, and I'm going, okay, my hands don't match my face. So use this product head to toe, and I am totally going to do that right this second. This is the warm 7. This is the shade that you definitely have there. I'm going to shake it really good, and I'm going to spray it. When you spray your face, I spray back here. Like, I like the airbrush look, but you can also spray it close and blend it out to get a more flawless, instant look. And with the body product, or with this face product, I actually spray this pretty close to the skin, and I'm going to show you. So obviously you can see my skin. That's pretty close. I'm doing that just because, you know what? I don't want it. And you see it looks kind of streaky, right? Then you take your brush or your puff and then just blend it out. So I only sprayed it on my arm. And then I take whatever's left on my applicator. You can do it with a puff or a sponge. And I just blend it down onto my hand too. And that way you don't get too much on that area of skin. But I just want you to see the difference. And now my arm matches better. It's so funny to see how pink it looks on camera, and then when you have your makeup on. So I'm going to do the other side just because I don't want to be uneven. And it's so fast to do. You heard that. I did 3 mists, right? And I'm done.
Nice.
The product is fast, it's easy to use, it's super healthy. It's an anti-aging product, and you have to see it on your own skin to believe the results. It's high definition results for you professional makeup artists out there. I am a professional. I grew up in Los Angeles doing movies, television, runway, red carpet, magazine covers, you name it. I've never found a product that I could use on every skin tone, every age group, in every environment, in and out of water. This product is actually totally water resistant. You can swim in it all day and it will not come off in humidity or in water until you remove it with a mild cleanser. So I just want to open it up for questions. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, I see those questions, Bekki.
Yeah, and now I know that there are a couple of the makeup artists are on here. I'll just highlight Poonam. I believe Ariella is a makeup artist as well. Does anybody have any questions? Or Lisa, did you have a question? I know that you're.
I have one.
Yep.
So it's a personal question. I'd love to be able to just speak to other people who also have thyroid issues. So I've had just all of a sudden I'll break out into a sweat and there's my makeup gone. People with menopause can identify as well. So because you can swim in it, does that mean also that it's going to survive my sweat? My glow.
Actually, you know, that's the first time I've ever heard that. And honestly, I have people that go to the gym and work out in it and sweat through it. I do as well. I never leave the house without a little bit on, whether it be, sorry, my dog is barking, but whether it be just the bronzer or you know, doing a light mist of foundation, scotch. But you can sweat through this for sure. The trick is, and so what I didn't mention before is that you do not have to wear powder with this. I never wear powder on my face at all unless I'm going to be on camera with a hot light shining on my face or sunshine. And I don't, because, and I have a you know, fairly wide forehead, and so I tend to pick up a lot of light. Right here is where I would put the powder. You can use powder with this product, or you don't have to, because it does have a semi-matte finish. So I prefer not to use it because A, powder is aging. B, I put the right amount of product on my face. Sorry, I have to just decline this call really quick.
Yeah.
And now I'm back. So you can put the right amount of powder on, or the right amount of powder, and not need that extra layer of powder. Also, it's aging. But if you do like to wear powder, that's fine. It works great going both ways.
Yep. No worries.
That's what I love about Yolanda, that she's always very,
And her dog's barking, and now my dog's wandering around trying to find where the dog is that's barking. There she is.
So you don't need powder with it, but you can wear it with it. The product is wear resistant. So if you do sweat, Lisa, I take a Kleenex, a tissue, a piece of toilet paper, or, you know, if you're in a public bathroom, you can actually use even the toilet seat cover. And that's the exact same material. The little face blotters are made out of that exact same material. So you press it onto your skin and it literally will absorb the oil and leave behind makeup. It won't. In fact, it'll just pick up the oil, and your makeup will be flawless. So you blot in. I like to blot for touch-ups instead of actually putting more makeup on. That was one of the big flaws that I saw, not only in the mineral powder, was that people would get oily and they would just go put more on oil, and it was much of the pores out. And then you get into this vicious cycle of, you know, using more makeup to cover up breakouts that you didn't actually ever really need to have. So, but if you just blot, if you're really shiny, just take a tissue. Sometimes you can even separate the tissue and just use a single ply of it, a sheet of toilet paper, or makeup blotting papers, or, you know.
Toilet seat covers.
tough right now with toilet paper.
Awesome, and you've got like this whole sheet that you can use.
You cut it up. Yeah. Okay, we have a question from Ariella, and she's asking about more mature skin and deep wrinkles.
Okay, so that's great, because one of the things with this product, first of all, there's no oil in it. So you want to make sure that when you have someone that has, you know, drier skin, you want to make sure you adjust the moisturizer accordingly, so that when you put the product on, the moisturizer has penetrated the skin. So one thing I didn't say earlier is that when you're prepping the skin, you want to put your serum on, let it soak all the way in before you put your moisturizer on the top of it. And don't do this. Don't wave, fan it, because that causes the product to evaporate and not penetrate. We want the product to penetrate. Then you're going to put your moisturizer on. Let that soak all the way in. And I mean, let it soak in enough that you have time to like brush your teeth. 4 to 5 minutes. If you apply the product directly over the top of your moisturizer, your makeup is going to float, and then it'll be more easily transferable. Our product stays put. It will not transfer onto the clothes if you've prepped it the right way. Then with someone that has deep wrinkles, when you mix the product on, it goes everywhere where the makeup actually has access to. So maybe someone with that has more lines and creases, you would want to really get in there with but once it dries, it will not move. It will stay put, and it's hydrating. There's no oil in it, but it is hydrating. So you want to make sure that the skin looks hydrated before you apply the as well. And then once you put it on, you can layer it to get the desired coverage, but you don't need to put powder. Older, the more mature, older if you add powder. That's the beauty of the product, is that you don't.
Yolanda, you're cutting out a little bit. I wonder if it's the bag of sugar is covering the.
Probably. Okay, I'm back.
There you go. There you go. And I think what you said is apply it with a brush when there's more wrinkles.
Yeah, a brush or a sponge, and really blend it out so that you can actually get it down in. And then once it dries, it stays put. As a professional, you'll know this, that when you apply concealer under the eyes, most of them are oil-based. And so you put it on, it looks really great. You have to powder it or it'll gather in the lines. And then you have to go in and touch it up. Once this product dries, which takes seconds, you don't need to powder it, number one. And number two, it will not move. It won't gather. It just doesn't. It stays put. And I'll never forget, I was on set on a movie with a star that I had worked with many times before. And she was so used to me walking in between every single setup and scene and taking a brush and blending under her eyes, blending. And then eventually I'd have to add more because I would blend it out so much that it would need more. And this was all day. And it's a little bit annoying after a while being touched that much. So the first time I used this product on her and I walked in to touch her up and I looked at her and I was like, you're good. And I walked away. She was like, what? Actually, he kind of missed me, doing the pampering a little bit. And all day long it was that way. And she was, at the end of the day, she was like, wow, you didn't touch me up. And I'm like, I know, I didn't need to. It just, the makeup was great. It didn't gather in the lines. I didn't have to do anything. I added lip gloss occasionally. And I actually felt like I was being overpaid for the day. So.
Yeah, you created the product, so you got paid for that.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Exactly. I know Kim had a question. She's got her hand raised there.
Yes, actually, Poonam Chu, who's a famous makeup artist in India, has a question, and she wants me to ask because I guess she doesn't feel presentable at the moment to get online, but she wants to know exactly how this compares to airbrush. I told her it is just like airbrush makeup, so she'd like you just to give her a little bit more explanation about that, as well as she has very deep pigmentation. And I know that before I've listened to some of your things about how you do the camouflaging of deep pigmentation in certain areas. So if you could explain that, we would really appreciate it.
Great. Okay. So, airbrush, if you're using the gun, it's like a little tiny spray. So you have to, evenly apply it and, spray all over, and it takes time. Whereas with this product, when you spray it directly on the skin, you get more of a thin layer, but it's more of a wide area, so it's much faster. If you can do it one of two ways. So I'm a person that likes to conceal before I spray because I want to get as much of the discoloration improved before I do the overall area. And that way I don't feel like I have to spray as much on, whereas why would I spray a whole area just to cover up a couple little spots? So you can do it with a little concealer brush by spraying it onto a palette or into the palm of your hand with a brush, or with a Q-tip. A lot of times, if I'm doing someone that has a lot of blemishes on their face, I'll actually use a clean Q-tip on each area so I'm not spreading the bacteria. Conceal first and then spray over the whole area. You could do it the opposite, where you spray over the whole area and even that out first, and then go back in and spot touch just the areas that need a little bit more. And that's actually, when I'm covering a tattoo, that's what I do. I spray the shade that matches the skin tone over the entire area first, knock it back as much as I can, and then I can make the decision on what needs to happen from there. And I'm all about correcting with color versus correcting with a lot of layers. So for instance, if you're a 6, you could mist over your entire face, get like a nice, good looking coverage, then go back in with the 3 that is light. So you'll understand this because you need to have a more opaque shade, and to have more, to have a more opaque shade, you have to have more white in it. The 3 has a lot more white and yellow in it than the 6 does. So if you go back in then, and then just tap out the color, of the areas that are more pigmented, that's great. Then go over it again with one more mist of the shade that matches the skin tone, and it'll be perfect. And then you can also, with a sponge, like I showed you earlier, go around, under the eyes, around the corners of the nose, and give a little bit more brightness to those areas. I see a lot of discoloration, like hyperpigmented skin in women of color. And a lot of times they're more light on their forehead and more dark around here. So in that particular case.
Nope, I think she got a call. I'm not sure if she's coming back or not. She may have gotten disconnected, but it's weird because her picture is still there.
Mm-hmm.
So she's still on. Was there another question after that, Kim, or was that the one?
That's pretty much it. I also just wanted to say that it's amazing, this product, because I've done it on a tattoo, and there's some pictures I'll share in the group after this. I'll go look them up. It just took a couple of sprays and the tattoo was completely covered.
Yeah.
And what tattoo just on the arm, but just amazing.
I love that one when the gal had that procedure done on her chest as well. Yes. It was like a micro.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll put those in Diamond Team Worldwide so you guys can take a look at that. It's just.
And I think somebody was asking when the product would be in Bangladesh. I'm not sure that we know that yet, but we'll definitely get that information out. And the other thing I was thinking, Bekki, that we could do, Kim, is also take some questions from people once we post this video. And then next week or the week after, we could get, since a lot of more people are going to be working remotely, we can get that information out and maybe even have Yolanda on again.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah. I think what Jay Ali was asking is Bangladesh, when they're launching there, and plans for Diamonds to come over there, which is
imminent right now. Yeah, we just don't know.
Yeah. Right now there is no traveling whatsoever. We've actually just got notification that the borders are completely shut down now.
Yeah.
Non-essential travel. So this is how we're going to have to do it for the next little bit. And I think it's just kind of a worldwide. Oh, there's Yolanda.
Yeah.
Oh, she's muted. Yolanda, do you want to just finish up and then we'll, I'll get this recording.
Sure. Yes. So I think where I was when I lost the signal was that I said that a lot of women of color, especially the the hyperpigmented skin generally is in the lower half of the face. So what I'll do is I'll match the skin tone everywhere and then maybe use a little bit lighter underneath so that it evens itself out. It just depends, you know, on the situation. Like I said, there's no rules in makeup. Every situation is a little bit different, but you can blend these shades so beautifully together. And a lot of times, you know, even using it on men that, you know, have higher hairlines or are balding on top, using a darker shade on top and then blending the lighter shade into their face that matches the skin tone. So there's so many things that you can do with it. And I would love to be able to share some of those tips and tricks with you over the course of the next few weeks while we're all locked in.
That sounds great. Well, again, thank you so much. I'm not going to highlight the promotions that are on right now. We'll go ahead and post those with this. And I know Anshu, the general manager, also has a Zoom call. We'll make sure that everybody has that information as well. And he'll be going over all of the promotions. We just talked about everything that's going on for India on our call a couple of weeks ago. So I think everybody's probably got that information. So thank you again, Yolanda. We sure appreciate you so much. And yeah, what we were saying when you were gone was that we will post this and then we'll take more questions and we'll get those questions answered over the next few days. I'll let you know. And then I also want to talk to you about what we were talking about before as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure. And appreciate you and love doing this anytime. So just let me know.
Thank you for being so willing to help us.
Oh, my pleasure. See you soon.
Yolanda.
Talk soon, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Everybody.